Truce again. Fires the three. And that might do it. Al Horford with the rebound. Throws it up in the air. And the Boston Celtics will go to the NBA Finals.
All right, welcome Kings and Queens to another episode brought to you by us, the educators. I am Oba, and I'm here with my brother,
Yo, Shabazz.
And this is another installment in our NBA Contenders Series. Today we're bringing you the sunny side of South Beach, Miami. You know what I'm saying? No state tax, beautiful weather. You know, Kendrick Lamar had a song called The Recipe with Dr. Dre. It's called the W, I think, Woman, Weed, and Weather.
Oh, Triple W.
Yeah, so that's what Miami presents, and it's always a beautiful thing because despite all that, that's where players go and get trashed and sometimes don't live up to potential. See Mike Beasley. But the flip side of it is that the Heat have a great organization.
100%.
And they've always been able, since the Heat came into exception in 1989, go see our series on top NBA franchises throughout history. Go see that video. We're going to put it in here. The Heat have always produced a playoff team or a championship team every 5 to 10 years since they came into the NBA.
On that Lakers type of time.
Literally.
Where they always putting a good team around.
It's a beautiful thing as a sports lover. And last year, the Heat finished as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference where you had a lot of great teams.
100%. You can't even argue that. Look at the rosters in the Eastern Conference last year. 76ers, who didn't have Harden initially, so I'll let that slide. Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics, who got out to a shaky start. You know, that alone right there, that's 4 or 5 teams.
Exactly.
So for them to finish number 1, props to the Heat.
It shows you, like, Eric Spoelstra, amazing coach. Great job. They were number 1 seed. They were 53-29, which was a great record for a team that, like I said, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo didn't really play that much.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry was always kind of here and there. I don't think Bam had the season that he's capable of having. Really, Jimmy Butler and just all-around play from a lot of internal players, which is why the Heat have one of the best general manager and scouting agencies in the whole NBA.
100%. This organization takes that recruiting seriously.
Very seriously.
Scouting to a whole different level.
And scouting is something that is at my heart. Team development, player development. It kind of ties into why, as an educator, it all comes together. Just seeing somebody's natural growth. That's what I love when I see young people improve and reach their potential. It's a beautiful thing. It's like the circle of life. You understand? I go through my course of life. You impart wisdom on the next generations to make them even better. And something about the Heat where you can see that happening, how people hold each other accountable. As men, that's something that we're supposed to be doing. You understand? If you see last year, Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem got into a fight damn near on the bench.
Yep.
And they still end up with the number 1 seed. At that time, I think they was like 3rd or 4th seed.
Yeah, it was still cut. Yeah, yep.
And they played to number 1 seed. So that shows you the type of organization they have. The Heat also have a weight limit in terms of how much you can weigh to be on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you get fined.
That's what's up, though. That's what it takes, though.
Hold each other accountable.
That's the definition of what you just said. Hold each other accountable, 100%. 100%.
So in terms of players lost, P.J. Tucker, who was a huge loss, because now P.J. Tucker and Marquise
Moore? I don't know. One of the twins.
One of the twins that played for the Heat last year, who got G-checked by my man, Serbian goon.
Hey, he did it to himself, though. Why my man try to knock him over and look the other way?
He did. And that resulted in him being out of the season.
Yep.
So, coincidentally, this year he's been gone. I mean, he's gone. He left to the Brooklyn Nets and P.J. Tucker leaving. These are the only 2 losses that they had. So, it's going to kind of hurt them in terms of defensive versatility against those 3s and 4s in the NBA. It's going to be Jimmy Butler by himself,
because that was their advantage last year, the size and the depth they had in that the ability to guard larger players or positions all around.
Exactly. So the Heat always find a way, because of their recruiting and their scouting, to find players that they can plug in. Last year, you had players like
Caleb Martin,
Gabe Vincent,
Max
Struss. All these players played a huge role in making the Heat not even miss Kyle Lowry sometimes, and not even notice that Victor Oladipo didn't play most of the season until the playoffs.
And you know, what's his name? Shout out my man Max Struss, because initially when he came to the league, he was known as a shooter, or supposed to be just a shooter.
Facts.
But seeing the improvements he made last year throughout the course of the season, defensively, You know, because I mean, even now he's still not good at guarding quick guards.
Yeah.
But his ability to just stay in front of players and move laterally, like. If you watch Max Struss, and before he got drafted, he wasn't able to do a lot of the things he does now. So shout out to Max Struss and the leaps he's taking.
Facts. And that goes back to their scouting department and them elevating the players. Like I said, Gabe Vincent, even Duncan Robinson got paid the bag and then got put on the bench because of the development of all the other players. So Duncan Robinson is going to be a player that you can probably look to get traded this year. He's going to be one of their few pieces that they have to get a player back. In terms of additions, the one key player I would say that they added that's going to be huge is Jovic. His name is
Nikola
Jovic.
Jovic, okay.
Not to be mixed in with Nikola Jokic. They're from the same place, play for the exact same team, and their play styles are almost the same, other than one is 6'11", and he's a skinnier, like small forward, power forward type. The one the Heat drafted.
Yep.
I think he's about 20 years old. So look for him to play a huge role. He is their only addition. And because of all the players they had last year, the Heat's growth is going to be based off internal players. Victor Oladipo is a player that I want to consider as a new addition to a certain extent because he missed almost the whole year.
Yeah, he came towards the end of the season playoffs.
He played like 5-10 games during the regular season and then played most of the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
so,
you can't plug a player in like that, you know, especially for the time that he missed and expect him to play at the same level we know Victor Oladipo to play at.
Due to the injury that he suffered, which was some kind of thigh issue. So that put him out for about 2 years. If the Heat can get him to play 15 points a game type basketball and good defense, get Max Strus and Gabe Vincent to play the same way, and Kyle Lowry stay healthy, the Heat don't even have to make a trade and can still possibly get in depending on the route. If there's any issue amongst all that, the biggest piece is going to be, what's my white shooter that's not doing nothing? Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson's contract is going to be a trade piece for scores similar to Terry Rozier, who should be on trade watch.
100%.
Jordan Clarkson, who's probably going to get traded. Those are the perfect players to insert to the Heat to kind of give them that extra punch in case they can't get it internally.
And one thing I will give the Heat to their advantage, like we already said multiple times, they're a great organization. So they're not just going to rush into a trade.
Facts.
They'll wait to see how the season plays out.
Facts.
And that's why I give them props. I know they'll do that this year most likely. They'll wait to see how the season plays out. And depending on how the offense is flowing, if they need bucket getters, then I can understand them trading Robinson, getting a dude like Clarkson or like you said, Rozier. That's where it would be a perfect scenario for them to do something like that, to elevate them to that next level.
I definitely agree. Now, in terms of the Heat's chances of winning championship this year, I'm going to be honest and say that there are about 5-6 teams who I see beating the Heat if they got into the finals. I see Denver possibly beating the Heat. I see the Warriors beating the Heat. I see the Clippers beating the Heat.
Yep.
I see the Bucks being better than the Heat. The Nets being better than the Heat. So I would say they have a very, very small chance of winning the chip, but they can get there.
Honestly, I agree with that. Like they would try like be like how the Celtics were this past season, where it would have to be a random year for them to get into the finals. It's still possible though.
They have the talent though, which is why everybody on our contenders list have a chance. Either it's going to take health for them to be right, or somebody else getting hurt, or a nice path through the playoffs that's going to get them there. But regardless, these teams that we're going over have a chance based off their roster construction and talent.
100%.
So, in terms of the future, the Heat will always be a factor in one way or the other forever, as long as Pat Riley is still the general manager. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
If you got Pat Riley and you got Eric Spoelstra, that's pretty much all you need with their same organization. They're going to find a way to get some players and get to where they need to get.
Hey, facts. Shout out my man Udonis Haslem, too.
Yes. You understand? Udonis Haslem has been a pillar of the Heat organization. So you see general manager, coaching, and you got a player coach. So it does good for you, especially when you have a player like Jimmy Butler pushing the team.
Yeah, exactly. That perfect mix, that balance.
And to end on this note, Miami is an environment where it's easy for a man to fail and succumb to his vices and urges.
Temptation
is a mother. You know what I'm saying? And to see an organization like that do certain things and succeed so much and see a play like Jimmy Butler, despite I don't agree with the extension.
I don't have any extensions. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, my man said he gonna cut it.
Hey, to each his own. But to see players do their best to stay together and stay healthy and not be consumed by alcohol, women, and party lifestyle, it's a good thing. Because I would say as a man, like, you want to be able to roam and travel the world and not be derailed by temptations of a woman or nice weather and become lazy and lethargic. So shout out to the Heat organization for keeping things on point and stay on your purpose regardless of where you are at in the world. Focus, whether it's raining or snowing or sunny, stay on your purpose because in the end, it'll all pay out, all right? Make sure everybody eats, B.